Well, hello there, everyone. I had some requests from my subscribers, or at least a couple of them, to give a little more detail on how and what I did on the layout here. Well, I'm going to take a little bit of time here today, as we do a flyover here, to give you some information on how I did this. It's not a very big layout. The room measures 11 by 12 feet. But in N scale, that's a good bit of room. But anyhow, this is how I'm going to describe my layout. It's built with a 1x4 framing, plywood on top with 3-inch polyfoam board on top of that. Every backdrop mountain you see all the way around here, and every hill that you see right here to here to here, and even back there, here and here, is all done with the blue foam board. There is no plaster on this layout at all, other than my road crossing here and over here in my engine facility where the concrete is underneath the engine house. That is the only places on this layout that there is any plaster. All my trees are super trees. I just love them to death. Think they make an awesome tree. I have a couple little pine trees here that I bought off eBay. I don't know, what was it, a bag of 10 or 20 of them for like 10 bucks. And sporadically put them around the layout. One subscriber requested information, or some information on some of my buildings. Well, as we all know, this is a Walther's kit here. These are end caps off of PVC piping, 3-inch and 2-inch caps for my oil tanks. These are DPM kits that I built. They're not even finished yet. And of course, this is a Walther's mine. And these are Pike stuff buildings. This building here was built by a friend of mine. His name is Don Wirtz. It is a laser cut wood kit, and he does a great job on them. And this building here, also the depot, that's also another laser wood kit, laser cut wood kit that he built. And then over here, nestled in the trees here, is another laser wood kit that Don had built. All three of them were built by Don Wirtz. The DPM kits I built myself, painted myself. Like I said, they're not finished yet. I don't have the glass in the windows or anything like that. Just your standard DPM kits. And these are your standard Pike stuff kits. Now, they're not weathered or anything. I just set them on here. There's a lot to do here yet, people. A lot to do. Like I said, 99.9% of my trees are super trees on the layout. How I did the backdrops, and I call them backdrops because they're made out of 1-inch thick foam board. And all I did was take lichen or reindeer moss, however you want to call it, and I laid it down. I shaped the top, rounded the top off, put my ground cover on. That's just Woodland Scenics ground cover, and put my different colored lichen on, and I sprayed it with hairspray and put more Woodland Scenics ground cover over top of the lichen. And at a distance, it gives you the illusion of a very populated canopy. A lot of guys do this. I've seen this on the internet and copied their ways, you know. But yeah, that's what that is. The bridge I made out of poster board, wood dowels, and some plastic pieces people use on paneling board that cover the edges of paneling. All my track is code 80 Atlas track, Pico and Atlas switches. It is on cork road bed, Midwest Products cork road bed, and is ballasted with Woodland Scenics ballast. Now, track is expensive, people. We all know this. Switches are terribly expensive, especially if you got remote switches. Pico switches average $20 to $28 a switch. I got 56 switches on this layout, and I'm not willing to sacrifice on one of them. I got 93 pieces of Atlas 2500 Code 80 Flex Track on this layout. I'm not willing to sacrifice a piece of it either. So what I did is, I laid the cork road bed down. Cork road bed is cheap enough. You could sacrifice that if you had to. I laid the cork road bed down, tacked it down with track nails, glued it in place, put the track on top and just used track nails and tacked it in place. I did not glue the track to the cork, and then I took the ballast, did my ballasting, sprayed it down with alcohol and water, and then made my 50-50 mix of Elmer's glue and water and glued it down. Took out the pins that held the track down, and there it is, people. It does not move. I'll show you here. Hear that? Solid as a rock. The track does not move at all. It's all flex track. The track does not move at all. It stays put. And if you want to change your track, or you say you have a switch that goes bad, all you got to do is wet it down with a spray bottle of plain water. Let it set for a few minutes, and it will lift right off of your cork. You can scrape down your ballast, put it in a jar, throw it in a blender, grind it back up and reuse it. And I have done that many times here in this layout. Take the track to the kitchen sink, run water over it, and it's just like the day you bought it, brand new. Just like the day you bought it. Not a thing wrong with it, no glue sticking to it, no nothing. You can reuse it and off you go. The switches are too expensive to just glue down and pray that they don't go bad. We all know that they go bad. We all know that. But that's what I do. I have yet to have a problem with any track coming loose whatsoever. As you know, if you watch my videos, I run long trains, and I do not have a problem with it. I just can't see gluing your track down 3 times. Road bed, then track to road bed, and then ballast to track. That is just way too many times. It's too much of a pain in the rear end to get up if you have a problem. Sometimes it causes a problem. Mike Pfeiffer uses Cotto track with the plastic road bed and everything, and he hot glues his down, and he was having a derailing issue, and basically nothing's ever perfectly plumb and level, and he glued it down a little too hard, and when he released the glue on that piece of track, it popped up and he never had another derailment. So there was just one example, and he tells you that in one of his videos, and that's just one example of your track being down too tight. These trains got to be level to run. Even if you're on a grade, they can't be going over any bumps or lumps, especially on your switches, because they will not tolerate it. The flanges are too tolerant for that. But basically, in a nutshell, I run an MRC pack, and I run an MRC Control Master 20 handheld throttle. There we go. With momentum braking on it, memory. I can take it and go from where it plugs in here across my layout to run switching operations over here. Just plug it in. I have control panels. There's not a lot of toggle switches on there because I use the Pico switches in my yard, and their directional current, every time you throw a switch, it throws the current that way on the switch, is what I use here in my yard. Now, that might not be okay for some guys. They might have to have it blocked off or whatever. Or if they're using DCC, of course, you know, everything has to be powered at one time. But I run the old DC system with blocks, and those create a nice block all the time. I mean, if you don't want to run an engine in there, you don't need to. I get 3 of them sitting right there, and it doesn't interfere with anything. Well, people, that's about the long and the short of it there. Very brief, quick idea of what I've done. Like I said, 3-inch foam board. The entire section right here is sitting directly on top of a 3-inch thick foam board. Every bit of it. And it's all glued down. It doesn't come loose. It doesn't swell. It doesn't ripple or dimple. It's great. I've learned to use foam board in so many ways. But every mountain on here, every backdrop on here, and that was another thing. I didn't want paper backdrops. I wanted like a 3-dimensional backdrop. Everything on here is foam. Just carved down, glued, and painted with Woodland Scenics ground cover on it. This section here is yet to be done. My bridge is just mocked up in there right now. Can be removed. But I got to do this area here yet. I'm talking to John Tanzillo about making some 3D printed backdrop buildings, 3D backdrop buildings going along here behind my engine facility. Give it more character behind the bridge. Kind of want to create like a little town or city look here. But as you know, it's always a work in progress. So thank you for everybody that has subscribed to my channel lately. That put me well over 100 subscribers. That was awesome of y'all. Vinny, you did a great job. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. You really gave me big prompts there, buddy. I appreciate it. This here consist, I'm going to start up and let it run. This is for Roy Smith, my UP man in Panama City, Panama. There you go, Roy. Big blow and a DD40X just for you, buddy. And we'll sign off with that. Thank you all for watching. You all have a good day, a wonderful night.